Hello.
Hello,
Hey Siddharth.
hello. Hi, Nikhil.
Welcome to the Hilltop podcast, guys.
Yeah, so hello, welcome everybody. This basically is a casual, freewheeling chat between friends about things that, make us curious, that we are trying to satisfy our curiosity online, basically.
And
Jo,
also and also another thing, we would actually before all this COVID shit, we'd actually end up hanging out, once a week, couple of times a week, which is
yeah,
completely stopped if you think about it. What do
exactly,
you think?
exactly.
So this is like a hangout chill spot.
Yeah, and we
So
used to hang out at this place which was a hilltop, so hence the name.
exactly. Actually, I was just thinking about that. We used to hang out in the water tank near the hilltop.
Yeah, I mean, invariably it that got developed into a park eventually and all of that.
Yeah.
So basically, it was a abandoned water tank and hilltop with a temple.
Right, exactly. I think now it's been developed like crazy, dude. Like if you
Yeah, yeah,
actually
yeah.
go there.
I went. It was
So,
pretty good.
so anyway, what uh, we wanted to talk about today was something really interesting, and one of the reasons we want to talk about it today is just a few weeks back, Siddharth, if you remember, we'd got an inquiry from a politician
Yep, yep.
for his video marketing, right?
Yeah,
Or,
and
huh?
the the worst part was that that guy was like, आई वांट टू गेट अ टिकट फर्स्ट और फिर टिकट मिलने के बाद मुझे एमएलए भी बनना है
Right.
और आपको थ्रू आउट कैंपेन संभालना है बट आपको जो पेमेंट है वो कैश पे मिलेगा.
एंड वो कोई कॉन्ट्रैक्ट नहीं होने वाला है,
हाँ,
कोई बैंक ट्रांसफर या चेक या वैसे कुछ नहीं होने वाला है,
एग्जैक्टली.
कैश में होगा पूरा ट्रांजैक्शन. आप लोगों को थोड़ा पर्सपेक्टिव देते हैं कि अगर हम ये कॉन्ट्रैक्ट लेते फॉर आवर कंपनी, इट वुड बी इक्वल टू आवर एनुअल अर्निंग्स एवरी मंथ.
या जो हमने लास्ट ईयर में टर्नओवर किया था वो एक महीने में, एक उससे भी ज्यादा, आई थिंक एक महीने में
या
होता.
उससे भी ज्यादा. बट देन आई वाज लाइक, सिद्धार्थ ये सब सर्कस करना ही नहीं है यार हमको.
या आई वाज प्रीटी मच फॉर इट. आई वाज लाइक हाँ, लेट्स डू इट. आई वाज लाइक जमीन ले लेंगे यार, पेमेंट में क्या है. पैसा नहीं चाहिए सर, एक जमीन दे दो कहीं आपके कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंसी में, तो
एग्जैक्टली.
भाई. बट देन या वी रियलाइज्ड नहीं होता ऐसे.
So this really got us thinking कि यार ये black. And I'll tell you this, okay? So this was the most surprising thing which happened when this entire discussion was going on. कि मैंने जब बोला घर पे और जो उस रीजन में मेरे रिलेटिव्स रहते हैं उनके बारे में पूछा कि ये बंदा कैसा है, कैश में
राइट.
करना चाहता है एंड ऑल दैट.
हाँ,
सो आई वाज लाइक, देखो यार ये अपॉर्चुनिटी है. मैं मेरे को लेना नहीं है क्योंकि पूरा कैश होगा, पर अगर लेता तो आपका क्या ओपिनियन है, कैसा है एंड ऑल दैट. सो मेरे जो कजिन्स थे गुस्सा हो गए मेरे पे. दे वर लाइक, क्यों नहीं लेना, पागल है क्या, ऐसे थोड़ी
एग्जैक्टली,
छोड़ सकते हैं बिजनेस.
एग्जैक्टली. मैं भी यही, मतलब माय पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू भी इट वाज फ्रॉम दैट स्पेस ओनली, कि यार बिजनेस है, क्यों नहीं करना है, पेमेंट का बाद में देखेंगे कैसे लेना है क्या है.
बट देन that was surprising to me. I am like, Siddharth, we got to do it, in the books, in with taxes and everything
Yep, yep.
formal with contracts. Because I was thinking, and my thought process was that, see, over time we want to build value for the company, right? We are a
Right,
private limited company, we're a startup, and over time these things slowly add up.
right.
And valuation is not built overnight, boss. No matter, even if you hear big stories कि boss valuation build हो जाएगा, funding मिल जाएगा and all, it doesn't happen just like that. You have
Yep.
created something of value. And if my goal is to add value over time, basically you're telling what? You're telling that you have built a system and process and the company is generating income, and the way it is
Right,
tracked is through white. It has to be through bank, it has to be through the invoices which you create, the contracts which you create, etc.
right.
आई वाज लाइक बॉस ऐसे थोड़ी चलेगा.
No,
So
but like this, what got that got us thinking कि यार ठीक है चलो हम नहीं कर रहे हैं but people do deal in the black economy and then
right.
we started researching and then what was surprising like Nikhil mentioned कि उसके cousins and all were also like what the fuck why are you not taking it up है ना
Right.
and that is when we realized कि boss this is a whole parallel economy. Like that's not when we realized honestly. Like we are both from Marwadi backgrounds, right?
हाँ.
So we've grown up in a business household, and we know कि भाई अगर कोई भी धंधा कर रहा है तो मतलब 60 से 70% वो 2 नंबर में होता है 20 से 30% एक नंबर में होता है ठीक है मतलब देर इज नो
Fix है.
या you don't have to think about it you don't have to इसमें कोई दो राय नहीं है यार ऐसे ही
Yep.
चलता है ठीक है एंड like I remember my granddad talking to the tax officials when they come and come for a checkup and a raid and obviously they find a bill or two which is not accounted for and my granddad goes कि बाबूजी आटे में नमक जितना तो काम करना ही पड़ता है ना
Right.
but to be like if you zoom out I like my granddad's business is one of small businesses in a small town in Rajasthan, right? And
Right.
there are at least if not millions at least thousands of such businesses in our country है ना
Right.
जो छोटे लेवल पे काम करता है छोटा मोटा बिजनेस है एक दुकान है एक छोटी फैक्ट्री है वहां से ही काम चल रहा है जो बाजार से पैसा भी उठाते हैं और फिर पेमेंट्स में भी एक जब भी आप खरीदारी करते हो रॉ मटेरियल की तो सामने से क्वेश्चन आता है कि बाबूजी ओन में करना है कि बिल में करना है ना दिस इज अ इसमें आप लोग अगर इफ यू आर न्यू टू द बिजनेस वर्ल्ड लेट मी गिव यू दिस 101 कि
And
एवरी
one thing
ट्रांजैक्शन इज पॉसिबल
before you do, this is
हाँ
to keep in mind कि boss,
हाँ
this is completely different from your startup world.
यप
ठीक है. पूरा डिस्कनेक्ट है तुम्हारे स्टार्टअप वर्ल्ड से अगर कंपेयर करें
हाँ
तो
लाइक
सिद्धार्थ ओवर टू यू.
स्टार्टअप वर्ल्ड आप बहुत अलग है और मारवाड़ी धंधे का वर्ल्ड बहुत अलग है जब मारवाड़ी धंधा करने बैठता है तो वो सिर्फ ये सोचता है कि पैसा कैसे कमाना है उसको ठीक है उसको कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता कि गवर्नमेंट को टैक्स देना है नहीं देना है अगर आप कल कल को गवर्नमेंट आके बोल दे कि आप टैक्स दोगे तो हम आपको 5% टैक्स पे 6% रिबेट देंगे तो फिर आप देखो मारवाड़ी लोग लाइन लगा लेंगे टैक्स भरने के लिए कि हाँ हमसे भी टैक्स लो है ना तो मारवाड़ी का सीधा वसूल है कि भाई मेरे को पैसा कमाने का अब वो पैसा टैक्स की चोरी से हो या वो पैसा टैक्स अवॉइड करने से हो एंड लाइक वेरी वेरी बिग डिस्क्लेमर कि ये इलीगल नहीं है ना टैक्स अवॉइडेंस इज नॉट इलीगल इफ यू आर स्मार्ट एंड इफ योर सीए इज स्मार्ट यू कैन सेव टैक्सेस ठीक है
Yep.
एंड अ लॉट ऑफ मोस्ट ऑफ योर सीएज गेट पेड फॉर दिस ओनली उनको सिग्नेचर का पैसा नहीं मिलता है उनको पैसा इस चीज का मिलता है कि आपने टैक्स कितना बचाया मेरा इस बार और ये सिर्फ हम नहीं करते हैं ये सारे बिजनेस फैमिलीज या बिजनेस एम्पायर्स करते हैं वेदर इट इज राइट यू स्टार्ट राइट फ्रॉम द टॉप रिलायंस to your bottom small traders, everybody tries and avoids taxes. So we did a little bit of digging and we very, very crude numbers that we've got. It that says कि around 62% of our economy, India's economy, is black. ठीक
Wow.
है? And
Even after
this
UPI.
yeah. Dude, UPI and all is customer facing. It's not business. Businesses का payment UPI से नहीं होता है. ठीक है? And that amount is roughly estimated the 62% of the Indian economy. Now I don't know how exact these figures are, but these are World Bank figures, all right? So the estimate is that it's almost 20 lakh crores.
Wow.
25 lakh crores and this is CBI का estimate इंडिया के CBI का now
Okay.
if you think about this India's economy is at what right now one or one and what, two Are we at trillion dollars already, or
Yeah, man, of course.
we are, na? Huh.
We're a $2 or $3 trillion
Exactly.
economy.
So out of that, let's take a very generous estimate कि भाई 50% ही black होगा, 50% नहीं है, ठीक है? Even then, that comes down to $1 trillion of the
Right.
economy which runs on black. Now, when I say black, there are very clear distinctions, ठीक है, कि what is black and what is not. Basically, something is black if it is not accounted for. ठीक है, in the book of accounts, in the tax books. तो अगर आपका कोई इनकम है या आपका कोई बिजनेस है जिसमें आपने ट्रेडिंग करी है, या आपने कोई पेमेंट्स किए हैं, या आपने कोई सर्विस दी है जिसका आपने पेमेंट लिया है, और आपने इन सब चीज़ों में से किसी चीज़ को डिक्लेयर नहीं किया है अपने बुक ऑफ अकाउंट्स में या अपने कंपनी के अकाउंट्स में, तो दैट बिकम्स अनअकाउंटेड फॉर, उस पर आपको टैक्स नहीं भरना पड़ता, वो सारा का सारा पैसा आपकी इनकम हो जाती है. तो लेट्स टेक एन एग्जांपल, ठीक है, लेट्स से यू आर अ किराना ट्रेडर, है ना, एंड you sell stuff worth let's say 2 lakhs in a month, ठीक है, and out of that 2 lakhs you declare only 1 lakh worth का stuff, the other 1 lakh you have not declared only. तो जो वो 1 लाख का जो माल आपने बेचा है जिसको आपने डिक्लेयर नहीं किया है, तो उससे जो भी इनकम आती है वो सारी की सारी इनकम आपके घर पे रहेगी, है ना, आपको टैक्स वैक्स नहीं भरना उस पे. नाउ वी आर नॉट प्रोपोगेटिंग दैट यू शुड डू दिस, आई एम जस्ट टेलिंग यू कि ऐसे होता कैसे है ये, ठीक है. तो वो 1 लाख का माल कैसे नहीं बताएगा जो दुकानदार है, वो ऐसे नहीं बताएगा कि उसने जब खरीदा भी था ना वो 1 लाख का माल, तो उसने बिल में नहीं खरीदा था, उसने 2 नंबर में ही खरीदा था वो माल. और वो क्यों खरीदा, क्योंकि उसको टैक्स बचाना था. अब आप पूछोगे भाई सामने वाला क्यों बेच रहा है उसको बिना टैक्स के, तो उसको भी टैक्स बचाना है ना,
Correct.
उसको भी अपनी सेल में, अगर वो 1 लाख का माल टैक्स भर के बेचेगा, दिखा के बेचेगा, तो उसको टैक्स भरना पड़ेगा, उस पर गवर्नमेंट को टैक्स देना पड़ेगा जो भी इनकम आएगी उससे. और वो नहीं करना यार. 30% गवर्नमेंट लेती है अपनी, आप समझ रहे हो, 30% किसको बोलते हैं. और 30% भरने के बाद ना हमें रोडें ढंग से मिलती है, ना बिजली ढंग टाइम पे मिलती है, ना पानी टाइम पे मिलता है.
No, see, this is Siddharth. देख, ये जो है, it's like a chicken and egg problem. Okay?
It is, yes.
Like till they get your tax collection, how are they gonna supposed to build it? Like India is a massive country, boss. Uttar Pradesh has as much audience or as many people as the entire United States.
Right.
Like what are you saying? So this is a chicken and egg problem, like if I'm thinking okay, government is a business and the tax is what I'm paying as a service to them, right? You need inflow of cash, boss. That's why what ends up happening is this is one of the reasons मेरे हिसाब से क्यों urban centers और जल्दी डेवलप हो जाता है. ये है कि गवर्नमेंट नोस कि अर्बन सेंटर में जब वो इन्वेस्ट करेगा उसको उसका रिटर्न फटाफट मिलेगा. सेकंड, टिपिकली स्पीकिंग अर्बन सेंटर्स में the employee crowd is a lot larger and employee
Right.
crowd can't really screw around with taxes.
हाँ. Even today, the income taxes that the government collects, 80 to 90% of the income tax that the government gets is from professionals. When I say professionals, I mean employed people, white collar jobs, doctors, engineers, lawyers, chartered accountants, all these guys. Now, this is a very small percentage of the population. है ना?
Right.
And you'll be surprised to know कि जो businesses चलाते हैं ना, small businesses, उनके जो owners होते हैं, उनके जो promoters होते हैं, उनका बिजनेस का टर्नओवर हो रहा होगा कम से कम 50 CR या 100 CR का, ठीक है, बट उनकी इनकम अगर आप चेक करोगे ना ITRs, तो द ITRs विल ओनली रिफ्लेक्ट एन इनकम ऑफ 5 lakhs और 6 lakhs और 8 lakhs बिकॉज दे टैक्स नहीं भरना है यार उनको, है ना. तो दे विल समहाउ फाइंड अ वे कि हाँ लेट्स डू दिस एंड ट्राई एंड navigate their way through the tax loopholes. And plus there are so many loopholes. Okay. Now the root cause for any country to have black money, or for any system to have leakage in the form of black money, I think, is the lack of strict punishments for offenders. Okay? When was the last time you remember that a tax offender got penalized heavily or
Okay.
got jailed?
Okay.
No, I don't remember. When was the last time? In India, at least.
I don't know. I mean, when you actually think about it, I don't remember a single report of something like this happening ever.
Exactly. So either they pay the tax authorities through bribes, or they, the judges also rarely punish them.
I've actually, you won't believe this, I've
Mhm.
actually read more reports of IAS officers getting caught as tax offenders.
Exactly. So, why not? So either see this is a fundamental problem. Okay, you either the government fixes the tax system, okay,
Right.
which is insanely high in terms of our like, we are a developing country.
Okay.
We can't afford to pay 30% of our income as taxes. Like,
ओके एक इसमें एक चीज मेरे को मेंशन करना है कि
mhm.
यू आर नॉट जस्ट calculating the 30% income tax.
Yeah,
What I
yeah.
have experienced on a day to day basis is everyone is looking to save GST as well.
Oh yeah, dude.
18%, 28%.
Yep, yep.
Especially my previous startup, one of the reasons I didn't scale as fast. So I mean, audience में अगर किसी को पता नहीं है तो my previous startup was a custom manufacturing startup. We would create customized products. And one of our target customers were homeowners who would want to make something custom for their home, you know, like a door or some sort of a grill. अब
Right.
इसमें क्या होता था कि we would spend a good amount of money on marketing. I've been doing marketing for quite some time, and leads I would generate from every damn place.
Right.
When we would get in touch with them, they are like, yeah, everything is good. Our prices were very competitive. Our service was
Mhm.
pretty good. And then finally, when it would come to the payment, the guy would be like, can we do this without the bill?
Yeah. This is a question everybody gets asked, dude.
And he's like निखिल your price and all is fine. जो 18% extra मैं तुमको पे कर रहा हूँ वो मेरे को नहीं पे करना है.
Huh.
And we would tell no, obviously, because we were an online company. We wanted to do all transactions online. We wanted to build up valuation and all that.
Right, right.
But I can tell you for a fact, I have walked away from deals at least worth 1.5 crore total. If
Right.
you add it, you know, when we were building our car.
Mhm. Exactly, and that's a huge problem for
And
for businesses and services alike. Like, nobody wants to pay a 18% charge on a service they are buying, because they already had to convince themselves to buy that service. Now उसके ऊपर अगर 18% आप बोलोगे, कभी 28%, no, it's a real pain, है ना? And there are so many different ways in which, black money can be made. Like, there are so many different sources. So I'll just talk about a few. Okay?
okay,
There are some. So let's say there's a trading firm. है ना? There are trading firms who do export import, right? So what these guys do is they do transfer mispricing. What transfer mispricing is basically, they will either under invoice their exports, ठीक है,
okay,
or they will over invoice the imports.
okay,
And these exports and imports are from tax haven countries, which are like Singapore, UAE, Hong Kong, जहाँ पे
okay.
taxes नहीं लगता है. UAE में recently start हुआ है tax लगना, है ना? तो इससे होता क्या है कि जो भी वैल्यू गुड्स का आ रहा है ना, फॉर एग्जांपल इंपोर्ट कर रहे हो आप, और आपने 10 लाख का इंपोर्ट कराया, बट आप इनवॉइस बता दो कि भाई मैंने 15 लाख का इंपोर्ट कराया है, ठीक है, तो आपको 5 लाख का जो वो कैपिटल है वो आपके अकाउंट में एक्स्ट्रा रह गया ना.
Correct.
नाउ द सेम वे इन एक्सपोर्ट्स, व्हाट दे डू इज कि भाई हमने 10 लाख का माल भेजा, बट वो दिखाते सिर्फ 5 लाख का है, तो जो बाकी 5 लाख का माल गया है उस पर टैक्स ही नहीं लग रहा. है ना?
पेमेंट तो कलेक्ट हो रहा है ना, so how what do they do with that?
So they get payment only for the 5%. बाकी 5% हवाला चलता है यार.
Oh, okay, that's another whole thing.
ओ
Like,
हवाला, एग्जैक्टली जो ब्लैक मनी, ब्लैक इकोनॉमी चलता ही हवाला पे
okay, okay.
है ना. एंड we'll have to get someone as a guest for doing a
I know. Let's see who will agree, because the thing is, of
we'll
course,
hide their face and all that. But just to give you guys context, every major town or a small town or a big town, every market that has traders inside that market, whether it is in Bangalore or in Ajmer or in Delhi, anywhere you go, you will find at least 2 to 3 hawala guys, जिनका सिर्फ यही काम है कि वो उस मार्केट से ऑल ओवर द वर्ल्ड, नॉट इंडिया, ऑल ओवर द वर्ल्ड पेमेंट भिजवा सकते हैं और पेमेंट मंगवा सकते हैं. और उनका फिक्स होता है, 1 लाख पे 100 रुपया लेते हैं ये लोग.
okay.
अब आप सोचोगे ये तो बहुत छोटा अमाउंट है, इससे क्या होता होगा, बट नो, दीज गाइज आर वॉल्यूम प्लेयर्स. तो इनका कोई भी पेमेंट 10-15 लाख से कम का नहीं होता है, ठीक है, मिनिमम होता है. और ऐसे रोज के इनके पेमेंट्स होते हैं कम से कम 50-100. तो
Okay.
इट्स अ ह्यूज इंडस्ट्री, ठीक है. सो वी वर टॉकिंग अबाउट द सोर्सेज ऑफ ब्लैक मनी, है ना.
Right.
So this is one of the sources there
Transfer
where
pricing.
transfer price, mispricing, under invoicing, over invoicing, all of that, ठीक है. इसके अलावा obvious is that political organizations, government officials taking bribes, है ना, from foreign companies, that अच्छा हमको ये प्लांट लगाना है तो यहाँ पे कैसे होगा. somebody like
इलॉन
somebody
मस्क
like a
ट्विटर पे इसके बारे में कंप्लेन कर रहा है.
exactly right, है ना. And they get paid through bribes, and these bribes get parked or invested abroad in tax havens, right?
Right.
Then locally earned bribes are there,
By the
which,
way, Siddharth, I want to stop here. Okay,
sure,
it's not just government employees. I've seen a lot of private employees who work
yeah,
specifically in the purchase department do this shit a lot.
exactly, yeah,
They'll ask the supplier to inflate the price, and if the supplier doesn't inflate the price, his payments will get stuck, his quality checks will get stuck, all those things will
oh
happen. And then they'll, eat up the pending amount to get him the project or to get him the contract.
एग्जैक्टली. सो इट्स अबाउट हाउ, यार, एक इंसान कितना ज्यादा कंट्री बन सकता है, ठीक है. ये वो क्वेश्चन है कि कितना,
मैं
मतलब हाउ
मैं
मच कैन आई पुश दिस.
मैं एक चीज पुश करना चाहता हूँ कि what I have noticed, which I feel is the biggest problem, and I get very angry with this, uh, or I don't know, maybe this anger is not justified. So I'm sure you have come across this situation where, say this topic, black money ka topic comes up. It comes
Right.
up a lot,
Right.
obviously. Uh, and when they're discussing someone, a person, a company who's managed to, leverage black money to earn big amounts,
Right.
everyone celebrates that.
Yeah.
It's like when a topi pehna diya, I achieved something great and all that stuff. And I get very angry with that. I was like, boss, this guy is a fucking criminal. He's a fucking criminal.
नहीं तो that is where even like I
See,
differ from you here. Okay.
See, I'm not saying the people who find tax loopholes and do it right.
हाँ.
I'm saying people without tax loopholes, knowingly transacting in just black, figuring out, for example, is trying to collect a bribe from someone, trying
Okay.
to undercut people, either in the purchase department, in private companies, in public companies, whatever it is. I get very pissed off with that for whatever reason. I feel that's just criminal. Finding tax loopholes and all is smart accounting. Figuring out,
हाँ.
you understood where I have a problem. I have a
Right,
problem when it's not ethical, dude. It's freaking, what the fuck? Like, you're celebrating a criminal.
हाँ.
And yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
And the thing which is so frustrating, it's not just, our previous generation which is doing this. I've seen people in our generation celebrate shit like this.
Yeah.
And in fact, I've seen people in our generation celebrate this shit more. It's like something good, or like it's not, boss. It's not, because that's not how you build value. Like Jugaad takes you only so far. Value is not built like that, in whatever you're doing. In those cases, the USP or the value जो तू build कर रहा है as a business owner या जो भी है, is that you have figured out a way of being a white criminal. Like, you got what I'm trying to say?
Yep.
And that's my problem. And the second thing is, I think it sets a very wrong example for people like me and all, when dude, like cousins, elder cousins and all are telling me, like, why the hell are you not taking, this is how it is, you're supposed to do it and all. Like, I don't want to do this shit, what the fuck.
So exactly, now that's what that is where it comes down. It all comes down to firstly your character, right? What are
Right.
your values? है ना? If you consider something right, you'll do it. If you consider something wrong, you will not do it. है ना? And that moral compass is very loose in a lot of people, in majority of the people, because they want to get rich. Yeah, everybody wants to get rich, and they don't care about the means, and they only care about the destination, which is fine. Okay, which is, I understand. Everybody wants to break out. Everybody wants to become the next big thing, even if they're not the next big thing. If they're getting, if they're getting a chance to earn, let's say, 5 to 10 lakhs a month, they'll do it. Why will they not do it? And they won't really consider black, white, or all that usme, hai na? But what it comes down to is this, like you said, कि जुगाड़ will only get you this so much so far. It will not take you beyond that, right?
Right.
So it's about having that long term vision in your company, in your business, कि हाँ, मैं जो कर रहा हूँ अभी मेरे को नहीं मिलेगा जो ये लोग कमा रहे हैं, ठीक है? But my vision is such that after 10 years or 15 years or 20 years, I'll be in a much better place than all these guys combined, because I'm
Right.
playing a long term game, right?
Right. Right. Right.
And that isn't really celebrated. Like, that's celebrated only once you've achieved, 20 years ke baad, and people are like, oh, overnight success and all that shit, है ना?
Ghanta overnight success.
Exactly.
Boss, there is no fucking overnight success, okay? I can
Exactly.
200% tell you.
So wait, though, now it comes down to that. What is your moral compass? Like, are you fine with short-term gains? Are you fine with impatient gains? Or do you want to play a long-term patient game? Do you want to build value, like you said? Or do you want to earn money? You want to build value? They're two very different things. They're not the same. है ना? So it comes down to that question. Now, obviously, there are so many companies that deal in different kinds of black transactions, and they're listed companies as well.
Oh yeah, that is like one of the reasons why even to this date,
Why?
one of the reasons why even to this date, as you mentioned, listed companies also do this shit.
Yeah.
If you ask any foreign investor, you ask
Right.
them what's the biggest issue with the Indian markets, and they'll never tell that the market size is small. They'll never tell that growth opportunity nahi hai and all that. They'll tell, don't trust the promoter.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's a huge problem, dude. Like,
Yeah,
there are people who back out of FDI deals because they can't really see through the promoter. Like, they can't
yeah,
really trust him. Okay, what if
yeah,
tomorrow he just gets up and fucks off?
yeah.
And
And by the way, bade companies mein, one of the ways black money is generated, and I was blown away when someone described this to me for the first time, was when they apply for a bank loan. Typically speaking, क्या होता है? Bank loan is given on machinery purchase, for example, in a factory or some asset purchase.
right, right,
They'll convince the seller of the machine to hyperinflate the price of that machine. For
yeah,
example,
yeah,
the cost of the machine is 100 rupees. He will take an invoice of 1000 rupees of that.
right,
He will take a bank loan of 1000 rupees from the bank, and bank only has to verify with that. They're not gonna sit and compare and all that stuff,
right,
and they'll sanction that off.
right.
The value of the machine is $100, dude. 900 rupees black generated like this.
Yeah. So there are so many sources. I'll just list out a few. Okay.
Okay.
Like I mentioned, sellers or traders who do not give bills or receipts for the black money. Like आप कुछ भी खरीदने जाओ अगर आपको बिल नहीं दे रहा है उस चीज का कोई जो भी आपका दुकानदार है तो वो उसके ब्लैक मनी ब्लैक अकाउंट में जा रहा है उसको टैक्स नहीं भरना है उस पर ठीक है.
Okay.
There are a lot of people who invest in bullion or jewelry to hide their actual income from authorities. Recently, गवर्नमेंट ने एक वो रूल भी निकाला था इफ यू रिमेम्बर कि 2 लाख से ज्यादा अगर कोई भी परचेज
पैन
है
कार्ड
ज्वेलरी
चाहिए.
या पैन कार्ड चाहिए है ना तो लोग उसमें भी स्मार्ट है 1.5 लाख के 10 परचेज कर लेते हैं. बिग डील मतलब देयर इज ऑलवेज अ लूप होल है ना.
हाँ.
देन देयर आर ट्रस्ट्स एंड सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप्स है ना.
Oh, this is huge.
These guys
Guys,
are they
if you
operate at a
ever
different
wonder
level.
what the fuck's going on, how come these trusts have become huge, I think one of the main reason is they are just circling black money like crazy.
Yeah, yeah. Arey, dude, let's me and Nikhil are both from the Jain community, ठीक है? So let's give you guys a little insight on this community. I I hope I don't get fucking mobbed or lynched because of this.
I don't think they'll watch this video also, man.
Yeah,
Because,
ठीक है.
huh,
So basically, what happens is, the Jain community is a very, very tightly knit community. Okay, almost everybody knows everybody, right? And there are temples in each area, right? And each area has their own dedicated temple, Jain temple for worshipping and all that. All these temples are governed by trusts. ठीक है? There are trusts में जो board members होते हैं, those are all the obviously the big businessmen of the community, है ना? होता क्या है जब जब भी ये मंदिर मंदिर लोग का मतलब मंदिर जब स्टार्ट होता है या इंस्टॉलेशन होता है या 100 साल हो जाता है मंदिर का तो देर इज अ ह्यूज सेलिब्रेशन ठीक है where people come from all over the country whoever has some inclination towards this mandir. Now this I'm talking about every city, every area in every city ठीक है. There might be some temples who are in a very prominent area. So they are huge trusts, but there are others who are in a small area. They are smaller trusts. What happens is these guys जब मंदिर स्टार्ट होता है तो उसका एक ध्वजा होता है. ध्वजा इज द फ्लैग ऑफ द मंदिर है ना. एंड there is a bidding process for whoever will come and do the dhwaja of
flag
that
hoisting.
flag hoisting of that mandir. And the perk is कि अगर आपने लिया बोली तो आपका नाम मंदिर के एंट्रेंस पे आपका और आपके परिवार का नाम फॉर लाइफ लॉन्ग लिखा हुआ रहेगा कि आपने किया था है ना. सो इट्स नथिंग बट अ पीआर एक्सरसाइज
Right.
राइट.
Right.
And people go mad. People lose their shit for this. I have seen people paying 16 crores for one flag hoisting. This happened in Bangalore only, Nikhil. Chickpet
Oh,
temple.
I didn't know. Okay. Okay.
है ना. And like the payment also happens very instantly, like there's no delay and all because these guys earn, dude. Like you guys have no idea how much money Jain people have. Like it is not even funny. Okay? If I'll get into that later, but yeah, this is what happens.
Future
And
video probably.
another video. And
Yeah.
so when that is just one source of income, there are hundreds of sources of incomes. ठीक है. एक ऑक्शन फ्लैग होस्टिंग का होता है, एक ऑक्शन सपने का होता है. देयर आर सो मेनी ऑक्शंस इवन आई डोंट रिमेम्बर. तो ये जो भी पैसा इकट्ठा होता है ना 16 करोड़ एक ध्वजा का या जो भी ये सब ट्रस्ट में जाता है. और ये ट्रस्ट के लोग क्या करते हैं ये पैसे को नाउ दे गिव इट आउट as loans, as informal loans to businesses, and they earn interest out of that. So
I
this,
didn't know this. Are you serious?
yeah, dude, it's a huge industry. It's like,
Okay.
and it's completely underground. Okay? Like nobody talks about it in the open because obviously it's like it's so taboo, na?
हाँ
क्या
हाँ हाँ
मंदिर का पैसा and all that.
हाँ.
Now, I'm not saying चिकपेट मंदिर के वाले लोग ऐसा करते हैं, but I'm saying I know, like I've heard
See,
that a lot of
what
people
he's
do this.
explaining is the internal mechanism of how these trusts double, triple,
Exactly.
quadruple their money.
Exactly. So
Right.
they give out that amount as loans for businesses to known associates. Now किसको देंगे आप पूछोगे? Like I said, Jain community very tightly knit, ठीक है? And 90 to 99% of the people are businessmen, ठीक है?
Correct.
तो हर बिजनेसमैन को कभी ना कुछ पैसे का जरूरत पड़ता है, नहीं भी पड़ता हो तो वो ले लेता है ना, क्योंकि बिजनेसमैन है वो।
Exactly.
वो क्यों मना करेगा पैसे को?
Yeah.
So this is one source of, this is, I'm just talking about one trust. Now imagine all the religions in our country, imagine all the temples, and imagine all the temples having their own trust.
Right.
You really can't estimate the amount. Okay. Then there are tax havens. Tax havens are small countries like UAE, Singapore, है ना,
Right.
जहाँ पे foreigners को tax नहीं भरना पड़ता,
Simple है, वहां पे बैंक अकाउंट क्रिएट करो, पेमेंट वहीं पे लो.
पेमेंट वहीं पे लो,
So
खत्म,
this is
tax.
not illegal. This I should
Yeah,
mention.
there
The
is a
tax haven
loophole.
part is not at all
It's not
not at
illegal.
all illegal. In fact, dude, we'd considered this. One work should be get it
Yep.
registered in Singapore, for example, instead of doing it in
Exactly.
India. Because so a perspective for all of you, till we hit 10-15 lakhs revenue, we didn't even start our company registration process.
But once we did, we were like, oh fuck,
I know.
accounts.
No, not just that. Not just that. I mean, ours is fully on white. So even if we took, payments, it was all on the bank and it was all contractual. And I had to pay tax. But I'm just saying that company registration and all. So this comes back to my original point. So you finish what all other sources are there, and I want to come to why this shit happens.
Okay, yeah. So then there are Hawala जो मैंने बताया था अभी.
Okay.
It's an informal Western Union, if you will, ठीक है,
Okay.
which operates throughout the world. Like I am sitting in a very small town called Byawar in Rajasthan. It's near Ajmer. Okay, nobody
Okay.
knows about this town.
Huh.
Sitting here, my dad has made payments to New York, to London, to Istanbul, and I'm like, what is this network? And he's like, यार पार्टी को पेमेंट चाहिए था और वहां चाहिए था तो वहां करा दिया. What's the big deal in that? But I'm like, dude, like you're making huge payments that too in some other country only. How is this reliable? And they're like, सब कुछ reliable है boss, तुम क्या? We
It
just
all
need
works on
one
trust.
code. It's all works on trust, nothing
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
ठीक है, and that is one another source. Then, oh fuck, this is insane. Okay, so there is a derivative instrument called participatory notes. ठीक है,
Okay.
participatory notes is basically when I am an Indian company, but I want to list myself in the US,
Okay.
in the US stock market. ठीक है, so there's obviously no direct way I can do that, है ना? So enter participatory notes. Participatory notes is people who are not, legally allowed to invest in a country's stock market
Okay.
can do that through participatory notes. So the company or the regulatory body will issue participatory notes. Investors can buy those participatory notes and they can invest into whatever company they want. Okay. Now this is a very unique idea for black money because they can use this to hide all their investments in the respective country that they belong to.
Oh, I didn't know
So
this.
yeah,
This is also like a global thing.
it's a global thing, yeah. So, uh, all these are different sources. Let us know if you guys know of any other source of black money. But yeah, these
Absolutely.
are major sources that I can think of.
So coming to the next part, I want to talk about why this happens. Okay.
Okay, wait. Before you start, I want to just give a little initiation on how this started.
Okay.
So why does so much money escape India? Okay. So initially, India was a very important link in the global money laundering chain. Okay. You guys need to understand the basics of money laundering. कि
Okay.
पैसा money launder होता कैसे है and all that. So it basically in the 30s and 40s when Indian royalty and industrialists were unsure of what would happen to their wealth in an independent India, right? They knew that independence is coming, but they were not really sure कि इनका क्या होगा.
Okay.
Because everybody was pissed off with rich people at that time because most of India was poor.
Right.
So these guys, what they did was these royals and industrialists, they transferred a huge portion of their wealth abroad. है ना?
Okay.
The same trend was also seen in the late 60s. Late 60s was when Indira Gandhi cancelled the privy purses of the royals. प्रिवी
Oh,
पर्सेस
okay.
इज बेसिकली रॉयल्स को ना गवर्नमेंट हर रॉयल को एक मंथली खर्चा देते थे कि
Okay.
आप ये खर्चा लो, बट वो
Okay.
कैंसिल हो गया 60s में. सो दैट इज व्हेन अ लॉट ऑफ दीज रॉयल्स ट्रांसफर्ड देयर मनी अब्रॉड.
Okay.
Also banks were nationalized at that time.
Okay.
So all the major banks in India were came directly under government control. Then there was so so basically India's money laundering problem, na, it's a combination of international money laundering networks and India's own wealth going abroad.
Okay.
So from the global south, it is flowing out. So it takes insane effort to even tackle domestic money laundering. This is global money laundering. There is no way to even keep track of it. Like how are you going to do it?
अभी तो नया आ रहा है ना अभी क्रिप्टो.
हाँ, now there's crypto. अब क्रिप्टो में तो कर लो, आप लगा लो दिमाग जितना लगाना है, सारे रिसोर्सेज लगा लो.
कुछ नहीं होगा.
नहीं कर सकते आप कुछ भी. So yeah, this is how it started. Go ahead, Nikhil.
So I was coming to this, why this happens. For small business owners, why they end up, doing black and all that stuff is the compliance cost is too high.
Yep.
It's so, even if I want to comply, I have to invest so much time, money, energy into complying properly.
Right.
In fact, I have been telling you this, कि our company with 3 partners, one of us will end up spending, as we grow, one of us will end up spending so much time on black. So much time on compliance, on preventing, any of these things coming up.
Right.
And the problem is this, कि compliance cost is so high. Rules and laws are not clear, transparent, or keep changing. Chartered accountants have, like, this is something which I didn't know, wherein when I have a conversation with you, I'll be like, okay, so that this is this and this is that. And we agree or we disagree or we figure it out. In tax code, when there is some issues, the chartered accountants have, debates with the tax authorities figuring out what's right, what's wrong. I mean,
Right.
compliance, even if someone wants to comply, is ridiculously hard. For small companies, this is the problem. The time investment, the cost investment, and all those things. One of the reasons why GST fucked up a lot of people, especially in the textile space, was this. It was not that they didn't want to pay tax. Probably that was a contributing factor. It was so complicated
Yep.
to figure out कि भरना कितना है tax. It's like, बॉस मैं मार्केट में जब हूँ, एक ओपन मार्केट में हूँ, माई कॉम्पिटिटर इज लुकिंग टू कट माई थ्रोट एंड you want me to spend time in figuring this out. Why small companies do this is because it's so hard. Why large companies do this is they are constantly targeted.
Right.
Wherein if they don't have black to pay off authorities, to pay off, local gundas or whatever you want to call it, how will they survive?
Yep.
So this is the problem, and I don't think there's going to be a solution for this. You do whatever shit you want.
Yep.
Like, dude, a company like Tesla, which is inching to become a $1 trillion company, is hesitating to come to a country like India. Can you believe it? You're not talking about some small, food brand, boss. You're talking about an automobile behemoth. Frickin', in terms of valuation, the largest company in the world. in terms of automobiles. It's beat out Toyota in terms of valuation and all, and they are struggling to come because they know they will be in the crosshairs of some local politician, some local gunda, some local tax authority who will constantly keep nagging them.
And also, like I want to go back to what you mentioned about compliance. Compliance is a big pain in the ass for businesses in India. You know, like there is if I'm not wrong, we have to file returns every month, na now.
Yes, we have to file returns, we have to file professional tax, we have to file the income tax returns,
हाँ
which
आईटी
is
रिटर्न्स which is ठीक है आप वो साल में एक बार करो ठीक है
no
बट
company. So
कंपनी
as a
हैज टू फाइल
company,
आईटी रिटर्न्स या
company we have to file on a monthly basis IT returns. So
राइट
for example, मैं कोई consultant को engage करता हूँ, I find his payout in a year gets greater than 5 lakhs. I have to withhold TDS returns,
हाँ
and I have to file that on a monthly basis. So you have GST returns, you have TDS returns, you have professional tax filing. You also have, because we're a private limited company, we'll have some board resolution filing.
हाँ
And there is some new cess which has come. I don't know, like again, my CA will be a better judge. शायद उनको एक बार invite करेंगे. अब यार अपन लोग 3 लोग हैं इसलिए थोड़ा बहुत मैनेज हो रहा है, ठीक है.
एग्जैक्टली और डूड मतलब इतना कंप्लायंस अगर एंटरप्रेन्योर करने बैठेगा तो वो काम कब करेगा यार तुम ये भी तो सोचो पहले ही इट इज सो डिफिकल्ट टू स्टार्ट अ बिजनेस इन आवर कंट्री even if you get to the point where you started the company, you've registered the company and all it, then actually comes the real struggle of running the business.
Yep.
Getting to a point where you're profitable, getting revenue, all of that. अब ये सब के प्रोसेस में आप बीच में बोलते हो कि हर महीने आपको भैया जीएसटी रिटर्न भी भरना है और आपको कंप्लायंस रिटर्न भी भरना है. अच्छा जीएसटी रिटर्न तो ठीक है. अब क्या होता है सप्लायर अगर आपने किसी को माल बेचा है और आपको इनपुट क्रेडिट क्लेम करना है तो आप उसका भी जीएसटी रिटर्न मंगवाओ
एग्जैक्टली
और
भाई
उसका
वहां पे
जीएसटी रिटर्न
दिमाग खराब
मंगवाने
हो
में
जाता है, ठीक है.
इट इज डूड इट इज इम्प्रैक्टिकल लाइक आप कितनी बार एक आदमी को फोन करके बोलोगे और वो नहीं भरेगा यार उसको वो जब उसको भरना है तभी भरेगा ना उसको थोड़ी मिल रहा है इनपुट क्रेडिट आपको मिल रहा है तो वो आपके लिए क्यों काम करेगा ही ऑल्सो हैज फेसिंग द सेम प्रॉब्लम्स आई एम फेसिंग एज एन एंटरप्रेन्योर वो भी अपना काम पहले करेगा आपका जीएसटी रिटर्न क्यों भरेगा वो पहले एंड दिस इज अ नेवर एंडिंग प्रॉब्लम ये चलता ही रहेगा. अच्छा चलो आप रिटर्न्स आपने भर दिए जीएसटी का सब हो गया सब कुछ हो गया है ना अब आता है कस्टमर बोलता है मेरे को नहीं भरना 18% जीएसटी आप भरो मैं तो लूंगा ही नहीं 18% अगर डाल मेरे को तो बिना बिल के दो भैया क्या ब्रो मतलब एंटरप्रेन्योर आदमी मर जाएगा मतलब
So I'll be like, ठीक है यार. I mean, I don't know. So one of the reasons that I was telling you, I don't want to get into a business where either it has to be end-to-end digital. I don't want to get into an inventory business, where I have to handle goods and all that. Because of all this headache, dude. Like, मैं as an entrepreneur, मेरे को बैठ के कोई problem solve करने का है, ठीक है.
वो बढ़ाना नहीं है प्रॉब्लम
Exactly. So I'm like, fine, man. I'll choose areas where all these things don't come up. I'll choose businesses where either I'm dealing with an e-commerce platform like an Amazon, Flipkart, because वो GST filing में गड़बड़ नहीं करेगा.
Exactly.
उसको अलग प्रॉब्लम है. Like he's in the crosshairs of freaking Ambani and Modi ji and all that. तो ये छोटा मोटा प्रॉब्लम नहीं है उसको.
Exactly.
So either I'll invest in that, where Walmart, Amazon, उनका books at least clean रहता है to a large extent. Or I don't want to get into an inventory business because I know this fight is never ending. And the problem is this with Indian businesses is why we've not taken off. So what ends up happening is the very few entrepreneurs who have a business background, who know the chartered accountant very well, who have done this in the past, have a support structure of working capital around them.
Right.
Apart from finding solutions to problems, if they don't have all of this, they're fucked.
Yep.
And उसमें इसमें एक और चीज है कि जो बचे रहते हैं जो entrepreneur who actually are able to overcome this, they end up becoming huge.
या बिकॉज तुमने अब इतना फाइट मार लिया तो अब कुछ बचा ही नहीं ना यार फाइट मारने के लिए यू फॉट एवरीथिंग दैट देयर वाज टू फाइट एंड
Exactly.
so it's like अपन लोग ना we are making things difficult for ourselves. We don't want to make things easy for ourselves, which is so messed up. Like, why would you not want everybody to become a businessman in India? Acha, not everybody, at least 30 to 40% of the population. If they end up becoming job providers,
Right.
it's a better thing for ourselves, right, as a country. But ठीक है, now I think we're digressing a lot. We are going for entrepreneurship.
I don't. Black money went into the issues with the Indian business, huh?
हाँ तो
Yeah.
right, black money का
But yeah, so
like
you got my point, right? Ki the reason this shit happens is what I just told. For
yep,
small businesses, compliance is too hard. For large businesses, they are constantly in the crosshairs.
yep.
पता नहीं
And
कब. हाँ.
yeah, and वही अब और जो भी बचा है ना मतलब या तो प्रोफेशनल्स बचे हैं जो
Correct.
आईटी रिटर्न भर देते हैं,
Correct.
है ना? उसके अलावा आप कोई भी कंपनी उठा के देख लो, कोई भी बिजनेस उठा के देख लो, वो 100% वाइट में नहीं कर पाता यार काम, और करना भी नहीं चाहिए मेरे हिसाब से, तो अच्छा सही करते हैं। क्यों क्यों एक तो सबसे पहले ना एज एन एंटरप्रेन्योर मेरा खून खोल जाता है जब गवर्नमेंट बोलती है कि 30% टैक्स हमको भरो। क्यों भरूं मैं टैक्स भाई? मेरे को एक बात समझाओ। तुम सर्विस प्रोवाइडर हो ना, तुम सर्विस तो दो पहले मेरे को ढंग की। आज अगर मतलब कोई भी आप सर्विस सब्सक्रिप्शन लेते हो और उसका सब्सक्रिप्शन सर्विस अगर नहीं आता है, 1-2 महीना आया ही नहीं सर्विस, ठीक है, तो आप कंप्लेन करोगे ना उसको, और आप क्या बोलोगे? मैं मेरा सब्सक्रिप्शन कैंसिल कर दो, मुझे आपका सर्विस पसंद नहीं आया। बट यहाँ तो मोनोपोली है गवर्नमेंट का।
Correct.
I can't cancel my service to the government. If I'm a citizen, I'll have to pay taxes. ठीक है, so I'll as a tax paying citizen, I'll be like, ठीक है, चलो I'll pay tax, but at least make it not easy, make it simple, है ना?
Exactly.
At
That's the
least
problem.
like इट शुड बी सिंपल इनफ कि मैं जाऊं और आप ये टैक्स का रिटर्न है मेरा और ये इतना मेरा है और ये मैंने भरना है ना?
Check out.
अगर आईटी रिटर्न में अगर 15-20 मिनट लगता ना तो मैं हर कोई भर देता आईटी रिटर्न। यहाँ सीए नहीं भर पा रहे हैं यार, सीए लोग बैर बोल रहे हैं बार बार क्रैश हो जा रहा है साइट, ये हो जा रहा है, वो हो जा रहा है। और प्लस there is a huge nexus of politicians, bureaucrats, and big businesses, right? Who who operate within themselves, who make policies such that uh, their money does not go out. मिनिमम से मिनिमम वो जितना पैसा भर सकते हैं वो ही भरेंगे, उसके अलावा वो नहीं भरेंगे, ठीक है? अच्छा, टैक्स अथॉरिटीज ट्रांजैक्शंस भी मॉनिटर करते हैं आपके, है ना? तो एनी ट्रांजैक्शन अबव अ सर्टेन थ्रेशोल्ड विल गेट हाईलाइटेड बाय दैट in the tax authorities eye, है ना? So for example the threshold level is 10 lakhs, तो deposits will be 9 lakhs। जैसे मैंने बोला कि 2 लाख के ऊपर का सोना खरीद रहे हो तो लोग 1.5 लाख का खरीदने लग गए, है ना? सो दिस मेथड इज कॉल्ड स्मर्फिंग, ठीक है?
Okay.
इन दिस व्हाट हैपेंस इज नाउ 1.5 लाख का खरीदा, मनी ट्रांसफर हो गया बहुत सारे अकाउंट्स, मल्टीपल अकाउंट्स टू एन ऑफशोर बैंक अकाउंट, ठीक है? सो दैट द ट्रेल इज नॉट क्लियरली विजिबल। तो मैं यहाँ से उठाऊंगा पैसा, 10 अकाउंट में ट्रांसफर करूंगा और 11वां अकाउंट विल बी अ स्विस बैंक अकाउंट और अ सिंगापुर बैंक अकाउंट, ठीक है? Then what will happen is a loan agreement is signed between the holder of the offshore bank account and the guy who deposits these proceeds. इन दोनों में लोन अग्रीमेंट साइन होगा कि मैं आपको लोन दे रहा हूं। अब आप समझो लोन कुछ है नहीं, ठीक है? जो वो ऑफशोर बैंक अकाउंट होल्डर है, वो बस असली बंदे को उसका पैसा वापस दे रहा है, और वो एक कमीशन चार्ज करेगा उसमें कि भाई 2% 3% मैं रखूंगा। अब जिस बंदे ने पैसा ट्रांसफर किया था उसको तो वापस मिल गया। अब वो जो उसको खरीदना है वो खरीद सकता है ना। This is a huge intricate system, a method of converting money into black money. ठीक है। Another method I told you guys about was transfer mispricing, है ना। Now, one more thing that people do is they mix illicit money sources with legit ones because it is hard
Okay.
to detect.
For example.
So, for example, the cash. So, for example, there is a liquor store, है ना। What will happen is people who are operating the liquor store will also accept illegal or black money from people from anybody who wants to convert the black into white. They'll take the money from them. They'll show it as inventory in their stock. Again, overpricing the invoice. Then the company projects completely fabricated sales. ठीक है, कि ये टोटल इतना इनकम है, आईटी रिटर्न भर देंगे। बट जो टैक्स होता है ना, they'll avoid paying that because the total income that they're showing will be much less than the total losses in the other businesses that they're showing.
Oh.
तो there will be some fictitious deductions, there will be some different 10 different businesses जहाँ पे लॉस बता दिया। ठीक है, और इन सब का जो प्रमोटर है वो तो दो तीन आदमी ही है ना। तो जो ब्लैक पैसा था वो व्हाइट हो गया, क्योंकि भैया हमारा तो लॉस है। लॉस, जो बिजनेस लॉस मेकिंग होता है वो थोड़ी टैक्स भरता है।
Correct.
तो हो गया ब्लैक टू व्हाइट। There's so many methods, dude. There's the criminals. Now, why this is a problem is, chalo, as long as it's businesses hiding the money and saving taxes and earning more, it's still only a financial crime. Where it
Correct.
becomes a problem is all the drug mafia or the terrorists or criminal organizations, even they use all these methods to finance, transact, and operate their businesses, whether it is a drug cartel or a Jaish e Mohammed or a criminal organization that runs the underworld in Bombay. So all these guys operate a network of businessmen, politicians, and fake firms and tax havens and disguised ownerships. Like recently, if you guys remember, there was a Panwala in UP
Okay.
who had two and a half, no, जिसके घर से 20 करोड़ रुपया निकला है ना। मतलब, और एक परफ्यूम मैन्युफैक्चरर था यूपी में जिसके घर से अराउंड 15-20 करोड़ निकला है। एंड व्हेन देयर वाज अ स्टडी डन कि आईटी रिटर्न्स एनालाइज किए यूपी स्टेट के, तो दे फाउंड आउट कि देयर आर एटलीस्ट 15 to 20 thousand पान सेलर्स, सब्जी वाले, फ्रूट वाले जो ठेला चलाते हैं, जिनके आईटी रिटर्न्स एटलीस्ट 5 से 10 करोड़ के हैं। तो ये पैसा कहाँ से आ रहा है? ये ऑब्वियसली या तो पॉलिटिशियंस का पैसा है या कोई क्रिमिनल्स का पैसा है, जो जिनको खुद आइज में नहीं आना है टैक्स अथॉरिटीज के, तो वो किसी और के नाम पे ट्रांसफर कर देते हैं।
Correct. They're just
तो
playing around with, you know.
तो होता क्या है, ये सब पैसा ना फिर आता है ब्लैक इकोनॉमी में, जिससे ड्रग ड्रग ट्रांजैक्शंस फाइनेंस होते हैं, टेररिस्ट को जो भी परचेजेस करनी है या जो भी उनके ऑपरेशनल कॉस्ट होते हैं वो फाइनेंस होता है, क्रिमिनल्स को जो गन्स चाहिए या कोई कोई भी ऑपरेशनल एक्सपेंसेस उनका हो गया वो फाइनेंस होता है। तो दैट इज वेयर इट बिकम्स अ ह्यूज प्रॉब्लम फॉर द गवर्नमेंट एंड फॉर आवरसेल्व्स।
Yeah. Absolutely.
And that is why this needs to be addressed. But like you said, like that is there is not really a concrete solution to this. Like you can do all you want, but you can't stop people from being criminal minded and earning more money.
I
That's
think I think the only thing which will happen, and well, That's the best part about markets, and why I like open markets is consumer behavior will start getting changed.
How do you say like?
So let's take a simple example. Restaurants are a hotspot for black money stuff. They
Yeah.
take everything in cash,
Yep.
and obviously don't maintain a great track record.
Yep.
Swiggy is expensive, but it's so damn convenient.
Hmm. That
So
people
you
do
know what
prefer it.
Swiggy does, right? Literally वो छोटा जो ठेला वाला होता है, for example, if he's on Swiggy, उसका जो
Hmm.
listed price है, उस पे
Hmm.
tax add करके फिर तुमको बेचता है.
Right.
Because the guy, the ठेले वाला is like, मेरे को फर्क नहीं पड़ता, मत मत आओ.
Huh. And
He's
why
not
would?
taking tax. So what is happening is, I love this because the reason why government should embrace digital companies and push them even more is this consumer behavior when it changes. Event bookings, food, it's become so hard to not be compliant, because compliance, so in that case my point that, boss, because it's ease of use which is the challenge, not necessarily the lack of will to pay.
Hmm.
It's so easy that Swiggy will only take care of the fucking compliance for the restaurant,
Right.
and Swiggy will have a tech team sitting on it, they'll have a law team sitting on it, they'll have an accountant team sitting on it, and they'll figure all these things out.
Right.
So with Dunzo and Swiggy, food and grocery stores to a large extent have ended up, becoming converting into a white business.
But this is majorly an urban phenomena, na?
So I think even in tier two, tier three cities, Swiggy has managed to do this, Siddharth. Like
Huh.
in a lot of, but yeah, it was definitely urban. Rural के लिए अभी तक नहीं है, वो पक्का है.
And the problem is it's not limited like to businesses that can be digitized, right? The problem is inherent in every business, whether it is something that can be digitized or something that can't be digitized or something that is just a plain simple, as a local thile wala or a sabji wala or whatever. Now, the solution will come if incentives are given, firstly, to pay tax, and secondly, like you mentioned, the main very important part of compliance becoming easy.
Yeah,
Only if it becomes easy, I'm pretty sure more than 30 to 40% of the country will pay taxes. Right now
100%.
we don't, because it's just too difficult. Like I don't know क्या कहाँ आएगा, कौन सा कोड क्या है, कैसे
Right.
होगा, है ना? And thirdly, people who end up getting caught for tax avoidance or tax misappropriations, they need to be dealt with an iron fist. They need to be given a good punishment that acts as a deterrent for people who are planning to do this in the future. You can't just slap them with a fine and let them go. They've earned 10 times the fine amount already doing those transactions. So that punishment is not really valid. So
And one more thing I want to mention here, a lot of you will be wondering that how does this affect us? How does this affect us? You are paying a price by not taking or not thinking about this or not talking about this seriously, because the value of the tax which you pay, if you are
mhm,
law abiding citizen and pay the taxes, has gone down.
exactly.
The 100 rupee tax which you're paying is no longer worth 100 rupees, it's worth 30-40 rupees.
Yeah.
So imagine someone comes and tells you कि 30% में लेगा, 18% जीएसटी लेगा, पर उसका वैल्यू 48% नहीं है. I'm taking 48%, but so you keep telling, right? Like, get me the service, show me the service, and all that. I'm
Mhm,
only gonna get the service of 10% or 5% of that, because
exactly.
a lot of these guys who have managed to stay away from the government should not be celebrated.
Yeah.
They should be penalized. They
Yeah.
are
And
indirectly or
also
directly paying. You are indirectly or directly paying the cost.
you are, huh? Like if the local government hospital in your area is not has ventilator machines, but it doesn't have technicians who can operate that machine, whose fault is that? That's not your government fault, the government's fault. Like Obviously you can have a direct, you can map a direct cause and effect relationship between the government not sending the technicians, but it eventually all of it comes down to a lack of funds, you know,
Correct.
in the
Correct.
government. And
Correct.
even when the government does collect taxes, you need to understand that even the government machinery is not a well-oiled machinery, right? It's like all the bureaucrats, right from the peon to the DM, everybody takes a bribe. इवन व्हेन यू पे द टैक्सेस, अगर आपने 1,000 करोड़ का टैक्स कलेक्ट किया है एक स्टेट में, तो इट इज अंडरस्टूड कि एटलीस्ट 200 से 300 करोड़ उसमें से लो गवर्नमेंट हजम करेगा पहले, वो विदाउट इवन थिंकिंग अबाउट कहाँ स्पेंड करना है ना. तो दैट्स अ गिवन. तो ऐसे सिनेरियो में अगर टैक्सेस नहीं भरे जा रहे हैं ना, या फिर मिनिमम टू मिनिमम टैक्सेस भरे जा रहे हैं, तो आप सोचो मतलब 150 करोड़ की जनता है और 5 करोड़ टैक्स भर दिए सिर्फ, ठीक है. तो ये है जनता और ये है टैक्स, ये पॉइंट. तो इतने से में भी अब कुछ लोग पैसा खा लेंगे, सब कर लेंगे, तो इसका एक फ्रैक्शन ही बचेगा. अब इस फ्रैक्शन ऑफ अमाउंट में 150 करोड़ को सर्व करना है, तो कैसे होगा?
And the second part is, boss, अगर तुम, if you're celebrating someone who's figured out a loophole to earn cash and all that, उसका earning तुम subsidize कर रहे हो यार.
हाँ, you should look down upon that guy.
Yeah, like any freaking day, you know, I will condemn the shit out of that guy. I'll be like, you're a prick, you're nothing less than a fucking parasite.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Yeah, there's no better word for that.
dude, and the only way uh, a lot of people who end up doing tax avoidance and all are well off. They are well off because people like you, me, who are tax paying citizens, have subsidized his living.
हाँ.
Okay? You have to be very clear with how that relation is. तुमने उसका living subsidize किया है. And the only way you can convince such people to become law abiding citizens, what I have seen work historically, not just in India, is by shaming in public.
Yeah.
That's the only fucking way. Like, Siddharth, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, dude, works like a charm. Like there's no better deterrent or a punishment, because इंडिया में इज्जत बहुत प्यारी है लोगों को, हालांकि है नहीं कुछ,
Yeah,
बट फिर भी कि हाँ मतलब पैसा नहीं कमाया, इज्जत कमाई एंड ऑल दैट हुपला.
yeah,
Shame them in public. Shame, name and shame. That should be the name of the game. Like tax authorities should bring out a list every quarter कि ये लोग हैं जिनका इनकम इतना है बट टैक्स इतना ही भरा है. This is the difference,
yeah.
and this is how it's going to be subsidized, and this is what you as constituents will be missing out because of this
This,
lack of tax.
yep,
These are the
yep,
services that you'll be missing out.
yep. And I don't know, as you said, right? Like the punishment should be like this. It should be hard for that person to continue doing business.
Yeah, it should.
Not easy. Now the condition is like, if he has a lot of cash, if he has a lot of liquidity, it's easier for him to do business. But then he got a lot of that liquidity by
Tax avoidance.
exactly
Yeah.
by skimping money. By you were subsidizing his liquidity.
Huh. And you don't realize that. Like, it's not
Yeah.
direct. That's why you don't realize it.
It's not impressive. Trust me, guys. It is so much harder to just pay the tax. It is
Yeah.
very easy to avoid it. If you
Yeah,
think
and
he's being
that
smart,
is,
he's not. What do you think, Siddharth?
he's just taking the path of least resistance. Like, this is no other way to put it.
That's not intellect. That's not smart. That's just a
That's
bad.
just barbarian behavior.
Right,
है
exactly.
ना. Like, मतलब आड़ू लोग जो करते हैं ना कि हाँ चलो यहाँ टैक्स बच रहा है तो बचा लो. And like you'll hear a lot of your ancestors, a lot of your elders also saying that टैक्स भरेंगे तो कमाएंगे क्या, कैसे होगा, and all of that. let me tell you, that's bullshit. Okay? If you want to, oh, if you want to first of all build generational wealth for yourself and for your family, and secondly, if you want to be able to become an entrepreneur who even the government will support, how it will support is, let's say you pay taxes regularly, है ना? Let's say you come in the top bracket of taxpayers, which is more than 10-15 lakhs का income, और आप उस पे 30% income tax भर रहे हो, है ना? Let's say you do that consistently for a period of 5 to 10 years. At the end of 10 years, if you go to any bank and if you ask them as a business or an individual, for individual, if you go and ask them for a loan of, let's say, 20 lakhs for a house or 1 crore for a house, or as a business, if you keep paying regular income tax and you go to the government banks and ask for a loan for, technology upgradation or a new factory that you want to put up, or any capex or working capital loans, you will not be ostracized. You will be given that loan instantly.
Yep.
Okay? And this is true. I have seen this. Okay? If you are a tax paying citizen who is in the top bracket of taxpayers, or if your business is in the top bracket of taxpayers, governments, uh, banks,
Institutions,
and
banks.
financial institutions will love you. They
Yep.
want you.
Yep.
ठीक है? Because नहीं है ऐसे लोग, तुम समझो। अगर 1 करोड़ लोग भी नहीं है 100 करोड़ में से जो टैक्स भर रहे हैं, to
Yeah,
get get
absolutely.
get to that point where you and your family are in the top bracket of taxpayers. Firstly, I would highly recommend that.
And look, I'm not at all telling it's easy. I find it really hard. We walked away from a deal which would have 10x our company revenue.
Exactly, we won't be struggling till now.
Yeah, but we did it because we were like, we want to do it right.
Huh.
We wanna fucking do it right, and it's okay if it takes longer.
And we are pretty clear from the beginning that we are here to play the long term game. We are
Yeah,
not here for short term gains.
yeah,
We want to build a company that creates value over the long term, and for
yep,
that you'll have to take tough calls. You'll have to decide, let go of a few things that are short term gains, just so that you can sleep well at night, firstly. And that is our primary motivation, to be very honest. we don't
yeah,
want
yeah, yeah.
we don't want these irritations in our mind कि यार वो issue है, वो issue. We want to sleep peacefully at night, ठीक है? And we
Right.
know that there is a way to do it, and we know that we might be late, ठीक है? But we'll eventually get there.
Yeah,
So it's just that, like, it's okay, like, if you're
and please
late.
don't celebrate the guys who figure out a way to
Name
escape.
and shame, I'm telling you, like, name and shame them. There's no other
But
way. See, tax avoidance is a different matter, ठीक है? जिसमें अब you're finding out loopholes, you're taking the help of your CA,
that's being a
you're
smart business person. I'm not
just
talking
being a
about that.
smart. Exactly. That's fine. That's everybody does that. It's an acceptable practice.
Yep.
That's why even your CAs will recommend you doing that. They will not only suggest, they will highly recommend you to do that.
In
So
fact, a
that's
lot of
fine.
times they are not even suggesting something crazy. They're just telling that, hey, you can save tax like this. Government has given this
Huh.
benefit to you. If you take a
Exactly.
home loan, you can write it off and things like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that is fine, but when it comes to illegal activities or corruption or
Under the
you know
table deals and
under the
all that.
table deals, that's just, like, I know it can't be completely avoided, but the least we can do is name and shame, so
Yeah.
that at least people get to know that okay, this is fucked up.
Yeah.
It's not acceptable. टैक्स भरना नहीं भरना बात की बात है। पहले ये इमेज तो चेंज करो कि भाई मैंने टैक्स बचाया तो मैं बहुत होशियार। It's not that way. There are benefits to paying taxes, like I said,
Yeah.
and those are huge benefits. Like,
Yeah.
it's not something that you have a credit score, you'll have, matlab, you'll get easy loans.
Yeah.
What else do you want?
And not just that, dude. Simple things like the reason why we have the fucking national highway
Exactly.
is this, and people don't. That's massive if you think about it from a scale from a human perception perspective, every kilometer I can go 100, kilometers per hour. I mean, wherever it's allowed. And that connectivity is so valuable
Yep. And imagine this much infrastructure and this much
with all
services,
these hurdles.
all these hurdles, plus only from professionals का टैक्स, बिजनेस लोग तो टैक्स भर ही नहीं रहे हैं। तो सिर्फ प्रोफेशनल लोगों के टैक्स से अपने हाईवे बन रहे हैं, अपने बसेस चल रही है, अपने सूएज और वाटर सिस्टम चल रहा है, अपना बिजली का सिस्टम चल रहा है, अपने सारी गवर्नमेंट सर्विसेज चल रही है। तो आप सोचो अगर बिजनेसमैन लोग भी टैक्सेस भरेंगे, सारे नहीं तो एटलीस्ट हाफ ऑफ देम भी अगर भरेंगे, तो we'll have so much money, dude. We can pay off all our debts to the World Bank and to the developed countries that we've borrowed, and we can become a superpower within no time. ठीक है, this is not a uh, you know I'm not selling you dreams. This is fact. Like if there are people, if half of Indians end up paying taxes, we'll have so much money that we have crazy services and we won't have to pay a lot of money for that also. It's
Absolutely.
just it's just better governance. Better money creates a well-oiled machinery, leads to better services. Everything is related.
So this
Yeah.
was exciting. I think I took a
It
lot,
was.
lot out of my chest.
Yeah, man.
Because this is, if you're starting a business, especially if you come from a business family like us, uh,
And you can see your parents and your dad and granddad killing it. And you are stuck there thinking अच्छा ये
yeah,
करना है कि नहीं.
yeah. So, but yeah, this was the hilltop, guys.
Yeah,
Join
so
us.
we
We'll try to do these episodes as often as possible. Of course, it will be available on YouTube. It will be available on Spotify or your favorite podcast app. I'll try to link as many things as possible in the description. Uh, so yeah, this is all for today.
yeah I'm
Again, there's
all
not gonna be. We're not gonna cover such heavy topics every day. So if we
yeah.
scared you off, don't worry.
So the idea behind this podcast is for uh, us to sit down and have a chat like friends do, right?
Yeah,
तुम दोस्तों के साथ चिल करते हो तो कुछ ना कुछ तो बातें होती है ना, और
exactly.
नॉर्मल जो आप दोस्त लोग के साथ बातें करते हो, वी आर जस्ट ट्राइंग टू डू दैट, एंड देयर ऑब्वियसली विल बी डिस्कशंस ऑन a lot of things from politics to business to technology. So
Yeah,
we are all what we're trying to do is explore our curiosity and bring it out in the form of a podcast.
and try to recreate the hilltop hangout, guys.
Yeah. If possible, we'll drop a map location of that place.
Yeah,
It's just a normal park place, but
yeah,
the idea is कि दोस्त लोग जब साथ में बैठते हैं तो the conversations are really good. You know,
yeah,
they were firstly intellectually stimulating, and secondly they were fun.
yeah. It,
So
it was fun. That for me, forget about the intellectual stimulation part.
yeah, it
I'm
was just
anyway
fun.
overloaded with intellectual stimulation. I just
Ah,
wanted to have
exactly.
fun.
And it was fun, and that's what
Yeah,
we're trying to do over here. And we're trying to talk about topics that are not necessarily comfortable topics, right? So
right.
तुम दोस्तों के
So
साथ बैठते हो तो तुम कोई बाउंड्री नहीं होती है, तुमको जो बात करना तुम कर सकते हो, right? So
yeah.
that's the idea.
So that's about it, guys. This was our first show. This was our first
Yeah.
episode.
Let us know your feedback, and we'll be coming up with more shows like this with engaging topics
Yep.
that we find engaging.
एटलीस्ट अपने लिए एंगेजिंग है, तुम्हारे लिए होपफुली होगा.
हाँ,
सो
right.
कूल
Thank
गाइस, बाय
you.
बाय.
Bye bye.